This is a very important workshop. It will set the roadmap on Fiji's implementation of the very important WTO Trade Facilitation Agreement. Firstly, before I go on behalf of the government, I'd also like to convey my thanks to the support that has been provided by the World Bank Group, the technical assistance on this project, the needs assessment project. It does not just begin and end with this workshop. There are meetings planned and also a validation meeting after the one-to-one meetings and this workshop. So the subject of this workshop, the Trade Facilitation Agreement, was agreed to in Bali in 2013 in December, and it's the first agreement at a multilateral level since 2001, the launch of the Doha rounds. So it's the first substantial agreement that was agreed between or amongst 161 WTO members in the last 14 years. So it offers some hope to the multilateral system, which was considered to be in a state of limbo. The agreement is a progressive one. It contains provisions for expediting the movement, release, and clearance of goods, including goods in transit. It aims to reduce red tape and bureaucracy and streamline customs border processes with reforms and technological upgrade. Now, experts estimate that if this agreement is implemented fully, especially the customs measures associated with the agreement, it could create US $1 trillion worth of global economic activity. It could add to 21 million new jobs around the world, and it could reduce the cost of doing international trade by 10 to 15%. Now, Fiji wants a fair share of these gains, and such gains will be made by improving efficiency of goods trade across borders and can be achieved through a number of ways: reforms of our customs procedures, simplification of the documentation requirements to clear goods, and streamlining of the procedures employed by border agencies, not just customs, and making it very transparent for our trading partners. Now, the Trade Facilitation Agreement is expected to increase opportunities by lowering transaction costs through harmonization, mutual recognition, and easier access to information, reducing the time to deliver products to markets and customers and enhancing our market access. However, all of this can only be possible if we have the resources, both financial and technical, to put in place the right infrastructure for the processes and procedures to be streamlined. Fiji can proudly say that there are areas in which we have already unilaterally excelled and are leaders in the region for most of these systems. For example, our customs procedures and processes, which has been digitalized and is rapidly moving towards this single window clearance concept. And with the successful implementation of the public-private partnership, our ports terminal limited has improved productivity, vessel productivity by 70%. Vessel turnaround time has been reduced from 36 hours to 22 hours. And there has been a reduction of vessel berthing time from 6 hours to 1 or less. And time taken for customers to deliver or pick up containers has been reduced to 15 minutes, and these are good gains. Significant investments have also been made to improve our airports and roads network, contributing to improved logistics in the transportation and movement of goods at our borders. The Trade Facilitation Agreement seeks to implement such reforms, such improvements, efficiencies across the board in a holistic fashion in all the agencies that are connected with facilitating trade. This will require substantial effort, both of time and resources, especially for developing and least developed countries. The agreement, the trade facilitation agreement, recognizes the resource and capacity constraints and provides for developing and least developed countries, WTO members, to make commitments, but subject to more time being given to them and availability of financial and technical assistance. The more developed members of the WTO have also given their commitment to assist the developing and the least developed countries where financial and technical resources are required. So, ladies and gentlemen, with the implementation of the Trade Facilitation Agreement, we will improve efficiency of the Fijian border agencies and will increase our gains from trade. It must be emphasized that Fiji, like other WTO members, will be making legally binding commitments to implement the agreement. So if we make a commitment that is not implemented, we could, on the negative side, potentially open ourselves to legal challenge by our trading partners, especially if our inactivity or non-action affects their ability to send us goods, affects their ability to trade. Therefore, the commitments we make in trade facilitation needs to be carefully done and be cognizant of our capacity to implement such commitments. As with most cases, it is better to undercommit and over-deliver rather than the other way around. So today's workshop is critical in determining Fiji's current level of compliance in terms of measures contained in the agreement, and to also identify and determine our capacity and the needs in order to implement. So we really need to determine what our capacity is and what our capacity is in terms of implementing this agreement. And what is not in place, what do we need to concentrate on? In this workshop, we have brought together Fijian officials from all relevant agencies, vital ministries, as well as the private sector, to carry out this collectively, in partnership, carry out the national self-assessment with assistance from the World Bank Group. And let me stress that this is not a normal training seminar or diagnostic mission, but rather a workshop where all of you will be undertaking actual commitments, assessment of actual commitments. You'll be facilitated and guided by the technical experts from the World Bank Group, of course, and at the end, we will have a Fijian product, as it is you, the implementers, the people on the ground, that will determine what our current capacity is and what is needed in order to meet some of the provisions of the agreement. It is my plea, again I repeat, for you to be very thorough when you're looking at these provisions and the agreements. Assess these provisions very carefully, determine whether we are able to comply immediately, or do we need some more time to comply, or do we need actual resources, both financial and technical, in order to comply. I'm confident that with your active participation and cooperation, we will come up at the end of this 3-day with a credible outcome that will chart the way forward, as I said, towards our implementation of the trade facilitation, WTO trade facilitation agreement. And also, it is my hope that your cooperation in this workshop should not end with this workshop. You will work with the Ministry of Industry and Trade in order to provide us the necessary support for the effective, firstly, the notification of our commitments and the implementation of the trade facilitation agreement. So, ladies and gentlemen, with those few words, I wish you very successful and fruitful deliberations in the next 3 days. Vinaka Votualevu, thank you.